There are riots in Belfast, so I want to go. Ever since Brexit, I predicted that there's gonna be some kind of war again. And now that the riots have started, I want to see it for myself. Just arrived in Dublin. Life is God's gift, and all life is sacred. Sacred. All life is sacred. Here you go. We are definitely in a Catholic Ireland. I'm looking for a bus to Belfast.
Belfast over at the Ridge.
Good morning. Can I have one ticket for Belfast?
It's 15 in sterling.
Thank you. Well, I am in Belfast. For you to understand why I'm here, I have to tell you a bit about Irish history. Irish history is very interesting, but also quite complicated, so I'm probably gonna mess up some stuff. The island of Ireland has been conquered by English kings, well, since the 11th or 12th century or something. This is one of them, Prince of Orange. This is one of the English kings that came here, 1619 apparently. And England has had a big influence on Ireland. That's why most people speak English here as a first language. Even though the original language is a Celtic one. It's clearly a unionist neighborhood. I'm gonna walk through. This is gonna be dangerous. But back to the history. The English conquered the island for a long time and used it as a colony basically. Which means the Irish of course weren't happy and they constantly rebelled. The English didn't like that, so they sent a lot of colonists, so British, which means Scottish and English, mostly farmers, went here to fill up all the Irish farms from the people that the English arrested, because those farms were now empty. And so this was in the 16th or 17th century. And since then these people have been living here, and their offspring lives here still. Now since Brexit happened, there has been the issue over Ireland, because that means now there is a need of a border between Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, and that would be a big problem for the Catholic population here, because they fought for 30 years in the Troubles to prevent the border and to protect their cultural heritage from being separated from the rest of Ireland. So they would never accept being cut off from Ireland. What the British government now did is make a sea border between Britain and Northern Ireland, and now the Protestants are not happy at all, and they've been rioting all week trying to film it, or at least feel out the situation to maybe understand it better. Now I'm gonna find I'm lost, so I'm from Amsterdam.
That's it?
Oh my god, that's me going to smoke weed.
Sorry?
Shut up. No.
After she's going to smoke weed. I don't smoke
I smoke weed, yeah.
Do you?
You do smoke weed. You
Yeah,
smoke it
sometimes.
twice.
Yeah, it is a minute.
But I did smell a lot of weed here as well.
Yeah. What's that for doing?
No, if you want to, I can. According to the BBC, there were riots this week. This little square, you can see above the shop, there are some things broken, and the Brooklyn Square, I think it's a cinema. It's all boarded up. There you see, no Irish Sea border, and above it you see broken windows. And the Irish Sea border is the border that the Brits had to make between the island of Ireland and Britain, because there had to be a border between the European Union and the United Kingdom. When I walked out the bus, by pure coincidence, I walked into a loyalist neighborhood. And you can see the divide between the people here in Northern Ireland and in Belfast. So I'm gonna show you some more examples of that. So this pub behind me is called the Royal, so that you think twice about going here if you're a Republican. So this divide between people, that they don't even hang out in the same pubs. And this is why they haven't been able to connect even after the Troubles ended in the 90s. There's still this big divide. So here behind me they put a football field in a Catholic neighborhood. And this is another point of segregation between the communities, is that the Catholic Irish play other sports than Protestants or British. The Irish like to play Gaelic football and this weird sport with a stick. And then British play football. Here in Sandy Row on the wall you see RC55 everywhere. RC stands for Rangers Club. It's a Scottish club where there's also a big divide between the Irish population and the Scottish population, and there's always war between those two clubs. And here in Sandy Hook they clearly support the Rangers. The 55 means because apparently the Rangers got their championship for the 55th time this year. Behind me there's a little war memorial, and the First and Second World War were a big divide between the British and Irish culture. Because during the Great War, the First World War, the Irish were having their revolution. Out of it came the Republic of Ireland. There was not a revolution yet, but they resisted, and of course they didn't want to fight for the king. They were very anti-British, so they weren't going to the battlefield. But the Protestants here in Northern Ireland, of course they were apparently very important. In the Second World War, same thing happened. The Republic of Ireland was neutral in the Second World War, and the Catholics here in the north mostly didn't fight. And then there's a third one here for the continuing conflicts. So that's clearly a dig for the conflict that's still going on between the Protestants and the Irish. The UVF is the Ulster Volunteer Force, which is a little bit like the counterpart of the IRA. You've maybe heard of the IRA, the Irish Republican Army. The Protestant boys joined the UVF to basically do the same. They were categorized by the United States and the United Kingdom as a terrorist group, but here they're still celebrated on the walls. So that's why the Catholic and the Protestant communities still really haven't come together after 20 years of war. There's a clearly loyalist neighborhood right next to where the riots were. You can see all the British flags. So they were probably rioting last week around here.
Look it up, look it up.
That's her. Leslie the babies.
No, you can't, Leslie. You're not going anywhere.